Okay. Give me a minute, mama. What's up, everybody? This is Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. I am your host, T. And we have some more. It's part two of this incredible thing that us women love to. We love to talk about the Buffalo Bills and football. So I got my lady with me today, and we're gonna discuss it. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Y'all know who they are. So just go ahead.
All right, want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
All right, so I'm Nautica. I'm just a
Sure, go
Bills
ahead.
fan.
Whoever.
I don't have a podcast or anything. I just like talking about the Bills and listening about the Bills, tweeting about the Bills, all that good stuff. So yeah, I enjoy this podcast a lot. It was fun the first time. I'm excited to come back and do it again, and talk to these ladies about Buffalo Bills through our first 6 weeks of the season.
Sarah?
Robin, you can go next.
Oh, okay. I'll go next. So I'm Robin Mundy, and I do the editor-in-chief thing for the Buffalo fan base blog. And I think I've been doing it for like 10 years. Somebody was asking me the other day. And of course, I want everybody to know that even though we're talking about the Bills, the Sabres are playing lights out. Had a great game last night, and I'm still flying high from it. It was after dark, baby. But I'm here to talk about the Bills with my favorite my favorite people in the world, and our Buffalo peeps. And Sarah is one of my favorites. Sarah.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah Larson. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Buffalo Stampede. Been breaking into this pod world a little bit. Love it and having a lot of fun, and just been enjoying it. I got to meet T finally in person, which was fun a couple weeks back in Buffalo. So looking forward to keeping this going. I enjoy talking with you ladies. So let's go.
Yes.
Let's go. So saying that, let's go. We're gonna get about the first 6 games of the season, and the Buffalo Bills are 5-1. We're on a going into this game. Our defense, our offense right now, our run game. Just give me a little bit of your thoughts. We can start with whoever wants to take it.
Want me to go first? We can go down and up.
Yeah. We'll go
All right.
down.
So
Go.
for the first 6 weeks, I was pretty impressed. Especially, it was pretty tough first 6 weeks of the games. I didn't think we were gonna win all the games we did. I thought we would maybe go 4-2, 3-3, something like that. Week 1, the NFL opener against the Rams, man, I was not expecting to win that game. The Super Bowl champs, their banner raising, getting their rings and everything. I was just I just hope it's a good game. I didn't have many expectations going into that game. I was pleasantly surprised when we destroyed them. That was definitely fun. It also made me kind of sad because I'm we could have beat this team in the Super Bowl, man. Made me a little upset. And then our home opener against the Titans, we absolutely embarrassed them, which was great to see because one of the teams I can't stand is the Tennessee Titans, man. I just can't stand the Tennessee Titans. The Music City debacle, the whole them beating us the past 2 years. I just don't like the Titans. And then the Miami game, frustrating, but with all the injuries we had, with our entire defense out, basically our entire offensive line going down by the end of the game, we only lost by 2. I was expecting to win that game with all the injuries, but coming in between 2 points of winning the game was very little hope. It's okay, this team has fight, we can do it. And then the whole the whole conversation was the Bills can't win close games. Then we come back and beat the Ravens the next week. So that was definitely fun. And then the Steelers game, I watched it with my friend's dad, who's a Steelers fan, and I felt bad for him the entire time. So I'm I can't even like cheer that loud because his team is just getting demolished. And then the Chiefs win. I didn't even watch that game. I was at a wedding that weekend, so I was sitting there like looking at updates the entire time, really stressing out. And when we won, I was like, okay, I can calm down and have fun at this wedding. But that was a great game, a much needed win to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. So first 6 weeks, this team is rolling. This team's hot. This team's what I expect coming into the season, and I'm very excited because after the bye week, it gets a lot easier for us. Hopefully, it gets a lot easier. We can hopefully keep the number 1 seed in the AFC East and in the AFC in a whole, and hopefully the Super Bowl run through Buffalo.
Yeah. So if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that we would be 5-1, I would not have believed you guys. And if you would have said that our lone loss was to the freaking Dolphins, I would have laughed at you. But I know, Robin, you're making that sick face. It makes me sick too because obviously I live in South Florida, so I hear it all the time. So whenever, even just going to the grocery store, it's it's one of those things that you have to hear all the time. But going into the opener, the season opener, I actually had a little bit of a different feeling. I felt like there was a good chance we could win because a lot of times the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl victor comes in and they kind of have that hangover.
I think that's what I was scared of.
Oh, well, of course. But they kind of have that hangover and everything else. I did not know what we were going to look like without Trey White. So my biggest concern was at corner. And, I have been pleasantly surprised throughout the season so far how we've handled that. Offensively, the statistics tell everything. We've been unstoppable, literally unstoppable. And what's crazy about that is if you look at how many people, Gabe Davis wasn't himself for a whole game. He missed a game. Knox missed a game. Like we still haven't been our whole selves yet. And so Crowder's been out for the last 2 weeks, I think, and I'm actually kind of happy. I know it's terrible, but it's given Shakir a chance to come in,
who I love,
and I love him, and I can't wait to see where what he's going to be doing going forward. But the whole season so far as a whole, I hate the Miami loss. We beat ourselves on that game. We definitely did. The weather, everything that factored into that. I feel very confident moving forward. I don't think that we'll be perfect. I think that there's always those games that you're going to have the weather or you beat yourself, and we'll have a stumble here and there. But to know that we've done this just with our depth, because even on defense, we've had so many people go down on our defensive tackles have been rotating through like crazy. And we have people coming in like freaking Brandon Bryant, who killed it and was actually the reason why we won the Ravens game.
Yeah.
So our depth has been crazy, and I really am looking forward to see when Trey comes back what this defense is going to look like, moving forward. But statistically, to be first in in offense, and I think we're second on defense, we're destroying it, and I can't wait to see with a healthy team what it's going to look like.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here thinking about what it must have been like to be in South Florida after that Dolphins game.
It's been miserable. And now that they've lost, I think what is it, 3 in a row? They're starting to quiet a little bit. They're starting to quiet down. But, to them, they literally won their Super Bowl, which I get, because when we, beat Kansas City, or when we would beat, the Patriots, it was a big deal. So for them, it was a big deal. I get it. But, shut your mouth now. I'm over it.
Seriously, I can't imagine. Just from what I saw from the Dolphins fans on social media, that was all I needed to see. Okay, I'm going to kind of go along the same lines as both Sarah and
Super Bowl.
Thank you so much for your comments. I won't go game by game because I have more of an overview thought. Going into this season, there was so much pressure on the Bills like I haven't seen before in terms of expectations.
Yeah.
And I was concerned, okay, is this team going to be able to live up to the hype? Because the hype was there and the hype was all over the place, before the season started. So my summary thought is it's a phrase, we are who they thought we were. Okay. I do think we are who we thought who they thought we were. I think we are exceptional. Just like Sarah said, we've had so many rotating people going in and out in terms of depth that we have no way of knowing what this team is going to be like when they put it all together. You get Trey White back, you get, our defensive line healthy, you get our offensive line healthy. I think that this
It's gonna be
team
crazy.
unbelievable amount of potential, both on offense and defense. And I love Shakir, by the way. I just want to put that in there too. I love Isaiah McKenzie, but Shakir is getting ready, and I think that he's going to play a role as the season goes on, an increasing role. I'm sorry that we lost Crowder. Do we get him back this year at all?
I'm not sure.
They never put him on the IR, so I have a feeling, at least I don't believe that they did. But even if they did,
I'm not sure.
It's
yeah,
still
I
like
believe
4
it's
weeks
probably
either way.
I don't
4 to
think they
6
did.
weeks. Yeah, I think it's 4 weeks, and with what I think it was like a fracture, or I don't know if it was a clean break or
Yeah, I
not.
think it was a leg fracture. I think it was a leg fracture. I believe.
Right. Well, sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes they heal fast, and sometimes they take you out for the season.
Yeah.
But anyway, at any rate, the other thing I hear people talking about in terms of the 6 games, now everybody's trying to figure out who are we going to trade for. The trade deadline's coming up. We didn't get Christian McCaffrey. Some people were crying,
I didn't want him.
I didn't want him. Did
I
you
wouldn't
want
have minded him, but not for not for what we
I didn't want him
paid,
either.
no, or what they got. So, and then I wanted to say with Crowder, the only thing I miss with him is special teams. Special teams, and our special teams has kind of been the thorn in our side.
Yes.
So I do miss him having that confidence of him as our return man,
especially punt returning. Yeah,
absolutely. So overall, first 6 games, I think we are who they thought we were. We are who we thought we were. Now the question is, moving forward, the only difference, that I might add in terms of what's left in the season coming ahead, and I've been thoroughly chastised for saying this on social media, but I'm telling you, the Jets scare me. And I think that the Jets are the one team that I'm worried about, the Jacksonville game from last year. Okay. I hope, because the Jets are 4-2, I hope they take it seriously and they don't just think, okay, well, this is like the Jacksonville game.
But it's not quarterback. Their quarterback is not all that. Listen, Zach Wilson has to show me more.
Yeah.
And if it's anything, their defense is definitely stepping up. So I'm not afraid of. I'm afraid of anybody. Will be the Dolphins again, but the Jets doesn't scare me.
Makes me mad because I wanted Breece Hall in the draft.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, we can't take a running back first round. We can't do that. And it's like,
no,
he's showing that he is a first round talent, and now the Jets have him, and it just makes me mad. But anyway,
that's their strength right now is Breece Hall and their defense.
Robin, were you done?
Yeah.
Oh, makes me mad.
Yeah. Definitely, because it's definitely not quarterback play. It's not quarterback play at all.
Also, the Patriots, man, they're surprising me. I thought they were going to be terrible, and they're
not.
They
are. They are.
Yes.
It's just their defense.
Defense, and if Bailey Zappi's next Tom Brady, I'll be so mad. I'll be so mad. I hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not.
I think
we look great, and you guys spoke about the injuries and how Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, anyway.
Does anybody hear me? You hear me?
In and
You
Yeah, I
guys
out.
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So our first two games were great. You know, we came out no injuries, and then the injury bug hit us, and we were bad. We were down bad. So how do you guys feel now? Looking back on that Miami game, and I think Sarah, you have said your feelings. A bunch of you guys have said your feelings about it. How do you feel about that Miami game? And to me, it looked like New England. So how do you guys feel?
For the Miami game, I mean, before the season started, I had a
Did you
splitting
guys
with
hear me?
them anyway. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So for Miami, I had a splitting with them anyway. I thought we were gonna lose like at least one game to them. Like I thought we were gonna go 5-1 in the division, and then we were gonna lose to Miami at least one game. So did I want to lose to them? No, but like I wasn't surprised that we lost because I thought we were gonna because they're a good team. They have Tyreek Hill, they have Jalen Waddle. Tua has developed a little more this season. They always have a good defense. So like I didn't like I wanted to win the game obviously, but the way we lost is a little frustrating because like we were so close to winning, and there was just a lot of mistakes that we made that prevented us from winning the game. Like we should have won that game, and so we're 0-1 in the division right now. But I think that's going to change. Obviously, we're still number one in the AFC East. I'm not really concerned about our place in the AFC East. I think we're the best team in the AFC East, and it shows. But for Miami, like when it happened, I was pissed, but looking back in hindsight, I'm like, we're fine. Like it'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that that's how most of us feel now that we've kept on winning and we've won, pretty
And they've
convincingly.
lost, so that's kind of helped.
Yeah, and we've won pretty convincingly for most part. Baltimore was one of those games that we had to fight back, which I enjoyed having us fight back with that, even with additional injuries. Kansas City, I was, looking at that game and saying, that was my one nervous game, going into the season, like really nervous game. But that's just because I hate playing in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But with the Miami game, how it unfolded, I think was what kind of ticked me off so much was we won that game, with all at least statistically. If you look
500 yards of
at,
offense,
I
man.
mean,
Like,
we destroyed them in every facet of the game, except for the score, and that's what ends up mattering, the win-loss in the end. So that was the part that was frustrating, is because of a couple of mistakes and the injuries, and as many injuries as many people that went down, to have it still be so close. Tua should, not for nothing, Tua should have never came back into that game.
yeah.
And if Tua never came back into that game, I think that we would have ran away with that game. No offense, to Teddy, we just would have went crazy on that game. I think Tua coming back was a little bit of a like a pick me up, and then our mistakes was a little bit more of a pick me up. Drop touchdown passes. It just.
Pass missing like a 30-yard field goal, which he never
Yeah,
did.
Allen not even be able to get a pass 10 yards to the end zone. Like we didn't look like ourselves. And I was at the game. It was, and I was on the Bills sideline. So the heat was just ridiculous. And I say it over and over again. I go to Miami Hurricane games.
I know you were hot.
Yeah, I go all the time. I've been doing it for 20 years now. There is a huge difference on that sideline. Huge. And I'm used to it. And I can still tell you it was one of the worst games I've ever been to with heat. And I had a fan. I had, 3-4 waters. Like, I actually asked the people behind me, I was like, can I have some of your Gatorade? Because they wouldn't sell anymore. Like, in the fourth quarter, I was like that. I knew them, but still, it was that bad. It was extremely hot. Yeah, it was, it was bad. So to have these guys, and to even have Josh say that he had to wait until, Friday to feel like himself again, like that's huge. So we know how much
he
he
had
got
like
of that.
full body cramps and stuff like that. Like
Yep.
that's never happened
Yep.
before.
And then, I know that Diggs said that he had 2 IVs, one in each arm. Like, it was one of those games that just kicked us in the butt from, from just a weather perspective. So, and then the injuries kind of piled up on top of that. But I'm glad that we've been able to overcome the injuries. And I literally want to hug, Bean when I ever get a chance to meet him in person, because the amount of depth that he is, has given us is just, it's proven now. I mean, even our DBs, and then to have Hamlin stepping up and Jaquan Johnson. I mean, we were missing our 2 all-pro safeties, and we kind of didn't miss a beat. So I'm just really happy. Yeah, I'm just really happy that we've overcome the injuries, and I'm gonna knock on wood. I'm from upstate New York, so we do this. We knock on wood to make sure we're not jinxing ourselves. But I'm just really happy, and I'm looking forward to being healthy and coming back from this bye week and having pretty much a full strength roster.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. If I go back to the Miami game, and I do want to for a minute. I can't even get myself to feel anything but loathing and some anger about the organization and the way that they handled Tua.
Oh, yeah. Good
And
God.
if Tua comes back to play, I'm telling you, if he gets hit in the head again, it's going to be scary. There's been some top neurologists that have come out and written letters, in the New York Times, et cetera, begging him to retire. And, Sarah was talking about this, once before about the heat, and being on that sideline 25 degrees hotter, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it was bad, but they don't even take care of their own players, Tua should not be out there. He should not be out there. And it's one of those things that we're going to talk about, in the years to come, because I love having Tua out there, frankly, because I'm not a fan of Tua. I think that when he plays for Miami, we can take advantage of him, and our defense will just, keep intercepting the ball and have an outcome. But, frankly, from a health perspective, I can't get past his coach.
Be honest.
Still don't have the true story about what went down with him and why he was back in the game and all of that. So as far as Miami coming
it was a back injury too, man.
I hope it's 10 degrees. I really hope that it snows. And I hope that McDaniel has as many icicles on his nostrils as Wanstead did once.
Be careful. I will be at that game as well. So I don't want it to be too bad.
We should shovel all the snow and put it on the Miami side.
Yeah, that's what we can move it all to one side. Yeah. I like that.
All right. So.
Yeah, exactly. We'll move it all to one side of the stadium. As far as the Patriots go, in terms of Bill Belichick's defense is almost always going to be good. He's going to have whoever is out there. It doesn't matter who it is. They're going to overproduce because that's what he does. Offensively, I don't know what the Patriots are doing. I just have absolutely no clue. Is it Mac Jones? Is it Zappy? What's going on there on offense? And having Matt Patricia running the offense and God knows what. Yeah, the Patriots, even though they look strong, kind of a mess, and we'll have to wait. What happens there, but they don't scare me. Certainly not like they used to.
Okay. Yeah, no, but it's just like surprising that they're still like kind of good.
Surprises.
Right. So, speaking about surprises, nice segue. Thank you. Is there any surprises so far for you guys?
Surprises. I'll go first. I have like positive surprises and negative surprises. So my positive surprises are definitely the young guys stepping up. I was definitely surprised by Christian Benford, like the he's a sixth
Yeah.
round pick, and he basically took over the job of our first round corner for I think 2 weeks, and he really like he solidified that he is a good, solid corner. Like he's not Trey White or anything, but like he's definitely a competent second corner too. And then Dane Jackson has really stepped up as corner one for Trey White. I always liked Dane Jackson over Levi Wallace. I thought he was more physical and had better like ball skills than Levi Wallace. I always thought he should have got the shot at CB2. So I was surprised by our young secondary really stepping up. Even DeMar Hamlin taking the place of Micah Hyde has done a really good job with Poyer back there. And then Khalil Shakir, who I thought like, man, what a steal in the 5th round for the Buffalo Bills. Like he just is so good at everything he does. Like he gets a little screen pass, takes it 10 yards. Like that's what we needed. We didn't have any yak receivers. He's a yak receiver. Even
Right.
Isaiah Hodgins, who's been on the team for 3 years, as long as Gabe Davis, and he stepped up in big moments in the Pittsburgh game. Like they really, a lot of the young guys have really stepped up. Like the whole next man up mentality has been a big focus this year, especially with all the injuries, and they've all done a really good job of showing what they got and making plays when they needed to make plays. And then for negative, like in terms of offensively, Jamison Crowder, I thought he was gonna be a little more explosive. Cole Beasley, I don't know why I thought that. Like we just like when he was on the Jets and he played against us, he's always really explosive and really good. I don't know if he just doesn't have a good rapport with Josh Allen, or it's not always on the same page. But I don't know. Every time he's on the field, he doesn't really flash for me. Also, he's also injured, but before he was injured, he still like didn't really give me what I thought he was going to give me as a slot receiver. But other than that, everybody's been really good. Those are the big surprises for me.
Yeah, I think for me, I haven't been surprised a lot with the Bills right now. I feel like, we expected to be where we are to a certain extent. I am surprised, a little bit that we haven't really used Cook a lot, but he hasn't showed what he's capable of yet. I feel like Knox hasn't been used. Tight end hasn't been used enough, in my opinion. So once we get that back down, I feel like that will be even another resource that we have, which is going to be crazy. But Morris has surprised me at tight end, and I've actually loved it because I was fighting all summer long to keep him, hopefully having the Bills keep him. I was not against having him be our tight end too at all. So I was very excited to see him excel. And he's had a couple of really amazing catches.
Oh my God.
My surprise in a negative way, I would say, would be McKenzie. I love Isaiah. Like most people who know me know how much I love him. He's South Florida, went to school right around the corner from where I live. Like I've always loved him. And he's kind of disappointed me this year so far. Not only when he's been put back there to return, but when he's in the game. And I just feel, and I don't know if that's because we're not using him correctly. But when he is being used, there's mistakes, whether it's he's being, careless with the football, or he's not really focusing on, what he should be doing. I have not seen what I really wanted to see from him this year.
Like even little things like, how Beasley catch the ball and you know where the first down is.
Right.
I feel like Isaiah doesn't have that. I don't know if it's like a niche thing, but like he does a thing where he'll dance and then like you gotta get the first down, dude. Like just go get the first down. Like those frustrating things like that.
Yeah, and that's exactly the word. He's been frustrating to me this year. And then my other big surprise, I would say, is I kind of felt like the two East, if we're talking NFL to begin with, AFC East, NFC East, I kind of felt like, we might have been the easier of the divisions. And I felt like Philadelphia was going to run away with it in the NFC East, and we were going to run away with it in the AFC East. So out of surprises for the NFL as a whole, that's it. We're like, we're actually the two of the better divisions.
And the AFC West.
The West looks like crap. I mean, Denver and Vegas are,
even the Chargers
they look bad. They don't even look average. They look bad. And the Chargers kind of look average. So, Kansas City is Kansas City. They're not the Kansas City though of the past. And I really do feel that. So I feel like this is our year to exploit that. So those are my, kind of surprises, I would say.
Yeah. And you brought up, Sarah, a good point about tight ends. I love Quentin Morris because he's our Mac guy. And he's a good dude too. And it's great to see him out there. And I do think he has a good shot at being TE2. But like you said,
they don't use Tommy Sweeney, man, at all. They throw it to him, they know like he's never on the field.
Yeah.
He actually had one catch, I think, last week. That was a good catch too. So I was like, hey, now we're getting Tommy Sweeney involved.
With Kansas City. He was on a city.
Yeah, it's just like one more piece of depth, right?
Yeah.
Interesting thing you bring up about Dawson, about tight end usage. And we haven't really looked at much in the way of utilizing the tight end position, which seems to be like a chronic problem with the Bills going back to like Ernie Warlick in the 60s. I mean, we just never have had a Travis Kelce really kind of player. Dawson Knox, I think we're going to see more of him as the season goes on.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I think, honestly, you guys, when I saw him react when he had the touchdown pass to win the game, I'm certain that he's struggling immensely, losing his brother.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm pretty sure McDermott is kind of bringing him along slowly, and letting him be in games where he's blocking and, he's not having the game on his back, so to speak. And for him to get that touchdown pass was huge, I think, and will probably lead into seeing more of Dawson Knox as the season goes on. And I was so happy for him because you could see how much it meant to him to kind of break through, to really do something for the team in celebration of his brother and the loss of his brother. That's tough, but I'm hoping that we do see more of the tight end position. As far as surprises go, this one's going to be really weird because it shouldn't be a surprise at all, but I'm weird anyway. The addition of Von Miller.
Oh my God.
I knew he was good. I knew he was dynamic. I knew his numbers.
Great.
But what I didn't know is what kind of team chemistry he brings with him in terms of bringing along younger players and doing, just doing the stuff that he's doing in terms of solidifying. He's the face of our defense now. Josh Allen is the face of our offense, clearly, and our team leader.
Don't blink.
I love that. I love that saying.
Oh, he just has come and he knows spiritually what his mission is. He's very clear about he's going to, he wants to be the one to bring the Lombardi to Buffalo. And I say, yes, let's do it. But Von Miller has been a pleasant surprise to me. And I didn't think I could be surprised by him.
He's on pace for what, like 17 sacks? It's like 33.
Yes. Now, yeah. First, Rousseau was on pace too. He had 4 throughout the first 4 games, but unfortunately, he hasn't had a sack the last couple of games. But and then now Von's picked it up, so I'm really excited. I think Rousseau is at the point now, though, that he's excelling because of Von. Yes. I keep on calling it every time I talk about it. I call it the Von Miller effect.
Yep.
What he's had on the sides.
Okay, now the one other thing, now we were talking because Nautica did a nice thing in terms of breaking this down. My disappointment, and it's not a great one, but it is a little, and it probably goes back to me clinging to the good old days, but I would really like to see our running game be more dynamic. Okay.
Yeah.
The Kansas City game was good because Singletary broke some stuff, and it looked like, okay, we're gonna have that element of our game. I don't quite trust it yet. And so as we move forward, I'm looking forward to seeing our running game just be a little more dynamic. So when we have to switch the running game, we can do it consistently, and I'll feel a whole lot better. That's
Yeah, I'm
my
kind of looking forward to us keeping Moss inactive. I know that sounds
Yeah.
terrible,
I
but
agree with you. I
I mean,
can't with him.
I
No,
feel like
yes.
Singletary needs the reps.
He's
and
RB1.
yeah, and I feel like we're never going to see what Cook can provide if he doesn't get a couple more, tries. So the only way he's going to get those tries is if we have those two active on game day, and then we have, Taiwan in there as a pinch if we need him. I hope Moss is, inactive again this week. I really do. I'd like to see what they have. And at the same time, as much as I cringe every time Josh Allen runs with the ball, I mean, realistically,
He's
it's
the
a
most
weapon.
effective rusher, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not that bad. I think we're averaging a little over 100. I think it's 115 yards a game. Unfortunately, though, he's 40% of that. So that's the only thing that I would like to change with the running game is have it be our running backs that's giving us
I would like to see
those yards.
James Cook in a more like Alvin Kamara role.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
throw some screens his way. Do some.
And that's what he is. That's
Do
what
some
he
screens.
should be. That's what he was at Georgia. Like
Yeah.
that is his role and what he should be. So
Yes.
I'm hoping we finally start to see a little bit more of that is his confidence.
Screenplays,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, he needs the confidence.
About Josh Allen and running is I don't care. They can say what they want to say. They can do what they want to do. If he sees something green in the field, he's going.
He's going. He's
going. And
I mean,
and that's the thing that I'm kind of trying to have to deal with this too, because this is my 7th year of watching Josh Allen. When he played at Wyoming, he did the same thing. And, I cringe just like everybody does. But I also know that inside his little soul is a person that, what you can tell him not to run. He's going to run.
But his run and him leaping over the defender again in Kansas City, it's almost comical at this point. But, I mean, that play is what it extended the drive. It gave us the first, it propelled us to, the next play, which was the Dawson Knox touchdown.
I think that's just
it was the second play after that. But
that's just Josh. Like he's going to do anything to win the game. Like, it doesn't matter. Like that's just who he is, and I love it. But it's also
just who he is.
For me.
That's just who he is.
Hope and pray
out of him.
He lives through the experience, but he's always been that way. And that's the thing. That's the thing, you guys, that we saw in him at Wyoming. That people didn't understand when we kept trying to say, look, you give him a chance, let him learn his mechanics. He had clown feet, his mechanics were terrible, but that was something that you always knew with Josh. He was going to work hard. He was going to do whatever it took to improve his craft, and look at where he's at. He's amazing. He's absolutely superseded my expectations, which were high enough for him. And
he's MVP, dude. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. He's crazy. And we're all the beneficiary of it. And we just have to hope that, the good fortune stays with him in terms of his hurdling, and God knows what else is coming.
I'm knocking on wood yet again. Just to let you know.
Yes, for sure. I want Duke Johnson active, so that's my only thing. But we spoke about Dawson Knox and him being MIA in this game plan, and I don't know if it's situational football, but I would love to see Knox again in this offense. But let's move on. The Bills are 5-1. And the narrative going into Kansas City, or coming out of Kansas City, was we barely won that game. And we only won it because Mahomes didn't play well. What's your takes on this Kansas City game?
I'll go
I'll
first.
go first here.
You want to go
And
first? All right, cool.
yeah, I want to go first. I just want to say, as far as a narrative goes, I don't really care, what the what the narrative is. And you mentioned that Mahomes didn't play well. I think the reason Mahomes didn't play well is because our defense didn't let him play well. And that part of it we have to take some solace in terms of our defense made him look pedestrian at times. And Von Miller got 2 sacks. He had 2 interceptions. He was not on his game, but partly because our defense was hustling after him. And just like Sarah mentioned before, we have depth players that came out in that game and really showed. And it made me feel good because it's like, okay, so all these depth players are getting all this experience now. And moving forward, if we get our regular guys back and we're full strength, we're going to feel pretty comfortable if something happens and we have to bring our depth players back in.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. But as far as the narrative with Kansas City goes, you know what? They can stuff it. We won the game, and we have to win a playoff game there. Yes, okay, fine. We will. It's going to happen. So that's what I think about the KC narrative.
Yeah, I feel like there's always going to be a narrative. Whether, if we lost the game, there would have been a narrative why we lost. So it's just one of those things that, it's a regular season game. Is it important? 100%. Because, no matter what, we wanted that game for our peace of mind, I believe. I hate the thought process of, KC is that our kryptonite. I'm glad we won the game for that reason. I'm glad that we now hold, the tiebreaker against them. We're up technically 2 games on them right now for, the head of the AFC conference as a whole. I want the playoffs to go through Buffalo. I want to see how that feels having an AFC championship game in Buffalo. But the narrative, we did it. We're still doing it for the Dolphin game. It was all of our injuries and yada, yada, yada. It was the heat. We all do it. And after every time, you win or lose, you're going to hear it. Kansas City, we had 2 rookie corners, and well, so do we, for the most part. And then we have, our 3rd string as well in there. So it's one of those things we can hear the narratives, but it doesn't bother me. My one thing that I want to make sure going forward is that we don't overlook games. And I feel like, I was nervous with the Pittsburgh game that we were going to overlook that for the Kansas City game, and we didn't. So I feel the whole don't blink, one game at a time, take everything as they come. I hope they continue with that, because Green Bay's not playing well at all. And that could be one of those games that, if you put your guard down, it's gonna be one of those games, because the next game after that's the Jets, and it's one of those things that you think about. Well, the Jets game's coming up, and they're in our division. If they keep on winning, that becomes a really important game. So I hope they're not looking, forward. But I don't care about the narrative. I'm with you, Robin. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. I just thought it was funny that going into this game, Kansas City was like, "Oh, we have 2 rookie corners," and I'm like, "So do we." And they, from some reason, forgot that Taron Johnson they forgot that he existed. Then he picked off Mahomes at the end, so that was funny.
Keep on forgetting.
But
Beautiful.
yeah, I mean, for me, this happened last year, Week 5. We had a big win against Kansas City. Josh hurdled over a Chiefs defender, and then the playoffs. What happened? We lost. So I think this game, it was definitely important for getting the number 1 seed and not solidifying yet, but making sure that we have that tiebreaker against Kansas City if something happens. But for me, it's about the playoffs. We have not beaten the Chiefs in the playoffs. I want to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and hopefully it is in Buffalo this time. So in that perspective, yes, it is important. But like what Josh says every week, 1-0, one game at a time. I think people are trying to pump up this game more than the Bills were pumping up this game. But I do agree that the narratives are dumb. Like it's just a media driven thing. Like it's a season week 6 victory, week 5 victory. So
Really?
yes, it's I like beating the Chiefs? Yes, but I want to beat them in the playoffs. That's the most
Right.
important.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love beating the Chiefs. I love beating the Chiefs. I love beating the Chiefs. Playoffs. Playoffs. I know it's early, but what are guys MVP right now?
MVP right now is
If you have to
Josh
pick a
Allen.
player.
Oh yeah, Josh Allen. I don't think that you're going to
Like,
get a
well,
different answer from
yeah,
any of us.
No, it's Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Allen.
And statistically, it shows. Like right now, he
I
is
got a different answer.
really
Defensively, I think it's Matt Milano. He's
well.
been
Okay,
everywhere.
in the whole NFL, though, are we
Yeah,
talking? Or
NFL
we're
or just
talking
for the
about
Buffalo
team?
Bills?
Okay, I'm sorry. Said the team. My bad.
Oh, the team.
But yes, for the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, so MVP
Who
Josh
do you
Allen,
guys got?
Defensive Player of the Year for the Buffalo Bills is Matt Milano. It's either Von Miller or
Okay.
Matt Milano's been everywhere. I think he's the most underrated linebacker in the league. He's one of the best, and I feel like he doesn't get the credit for it. I like Tremaine Edmonds. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player, but Matt Milano is the better linebacker, and he's the
Yes.
one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
I
Yeah.
agree to a certain extent, but I believe that Milano and Edmonds are kind of like Hyde and Poyer. So
Yeah,
I believe they're a
interchangeable,
tandem.
Batman.
But I do think Milano flashes more on the
Mhm.
field. He's just everywhere. Every time I look at Matt.
Yeah,
Milano.
but I personally think that it's because of what Edmonds is asked to do. So, but I think that the reason why Milano looks so good this year is a combination not only because of our defensive tackles, but also because Milano and Edmonds together. When they're not playing at the same time, Milano doesn't look as good. And we saw that the game that Edmonds was out. Now, not saying that we didn't play, terrifically. It was still, we still were great. Milano is still a great linebacker. It's when he has those flashes, it's because Edmonds is on the field as well, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So.
I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think both our linebackers are underrated in that respect. And it's interesting what you're saying, Sarah, because I'm going to think about that more. The chemistry that exists between Edmonds and Milano, it does seem to show. From what you're saying, I need to process that more. But I agree with Nautica. Oh my God, Milano is so underrated, and when he was put as a spy on Mahomes, I was loving it because he's very athletic, and he's good. He'll track him down, and he did. And I think he really is very underrated. The other thing that's good about Milano this year is, cross your fingers, he stayed healthy so far, and that's big.
Knock on some wood.
The first couple years, out with hamstring injuries and that sort of thing. But I think having a healthy Milano is a very good thing for Edmonds as well.
Robin.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about injuries, but
Yeah.
if something happens, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. But I have to say, I'm coming for you. I have to say, I guess I didn't put it right. I meant to say team. Well, for me, as a team, it would have to be Morris, because Mitch Morris is playing out of his mind. So that's my MVP for the team.
And you could see it in the Miami game.
He's blocking.
I wasn't even.
He's running.
Thinking about him.
Yeah.
When you really notice it, when Mitch Morris is not in the lineup.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see him because out there doing his thing. And are we getting to the point where Aaron Cromer is, his magic is starting to come together with this offensive line a little bit? Morris, it seems like Cromer is very good at taking what each player does well. I think it might have been Deion Dawkins that explained this, why he liked Cromer so much, because he said he doesn't try to fit one person's attributes into the next offensive lineman. It's not a cookie cutter thing with him. And so every offensive lineman gets their own attention. Well, Mitch Morse, he's a pro's pro. And I agree, he's having a hell of a year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just watch his leadership, that's an issue too, in terms of bringing everybody together. I couldn't agree more. Mitch Morse is critical to our offensive line and how it performs.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. It's more when he's not in the game.
Yes.
When you see the difference and everything. But again, I'm gonna say the depth. Even we were joking at the Kansas City game when Brown went down, and we were talking about it all afterwards. And one of my friends was like, one of the Kansas City guys was like, "Oh, sucks for you. You guys lost your tackle." And they were like, "Oh no, our backup is was the starting tackle for the Tennessee Titans last year." They're like, "Wait, what? Your backup?" So it was kind of joking about that afterwards. And like, this team, man, like the one thing though is I still don't feel like the offensive line has 100% gotten to where it could be. So because there's just been so much rotation right now. So once that's healthy and we have more reps of them all performing together at this, I can't wait. And I think it's going to open up our run game a little bit more as well. Hopefully we all want to see it.
I mean, that's what you want to click, right? In December, like November, like those later months.
Yeah, we don't want to peak now.
Yeah,
you're right.
So I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But interesting take, T.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't think that as well.
Sorry, I was gonna say I wouldn't think too much about the role players being. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. I like that. I like that. But before we get out of here, I got a question for you guys, and I didn't give you this because I want the top of your head. So before last year, everybody was saying Leslie Frazier is going to be a head coach. How do you guys feel now that our defense is top 5, top 2, whatever the case may be? How do you feel Leslie Frazier being here next year? I'm still being above.
I don't think so. I'll take this one first for this time. I'm hoping we can keep Dorsey one more year. I don't think that's going to happen either, though. I would like to believe that some people are going to say that it's because he has Josh Allen, so maybe we get him for another year. But the one thing that I love is I feel like even if we do lose Frazier, and it's deserving, he deserves to be taken off our hands. He deserves that head coaching position. I just like the fact that I think that we'll keep it
another
internal.
Head coaching position.
Yeah. Well, I think that we'll keep it internal. I think that if we lose Dorsey or if we lose Frazier, that we have that hierarchy now within our system where it's okay. So in my opinion, on offense, we would have Brady come up, and then on defense, on defense it'll probably be Washington or Babbage. So I'm okay with either and keep the consistency. That's the biggest thing I think that is a benefit from having Dorsey fill in for Dayball is a lot of it's the same, but then there's little things that he's throwing in, and I think that kept the consistency on offense, and I think that we'll continue that.
I just have to laugh at you saying he threw it in. Remember when he threw his book?
That's him though. He's psycho. He really is. We joked about it 20 years ago. That's his personality. He does not like to lose at all, and I love it.
I like that. I like that in the coach.
I love it.
I like that you have the same passion.
I know
he said he was psycho.
Oh my God, it was so unprofessional and all this stuff. I'm like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And bring it on, Dors. It is interesting in terms of Leslie Frazier. I've been a fan of his for a long time. I think it was when we hired Dick Geron. It might have been then that they interviewed Leslie Frazier for the head coaching position. I really wanted him back then. He is such a consummate professional. What he's done in the last couple of years, because he's been around for a long time, but he's a guy that's willing to learn and not just kind of rest on his laurels. You've seen him do a lot more in-game adjustments than when he first became defensive coordinator. So I think his relationship with McDermott has been very solid, and now McDermott trusts him. Remember the one game, I think it was a couple years ago, when McDermott took over for Leslie Frazier in a game? It was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But I wondered, is that going to cause an issue? Or it didn't. It really didn't. And that's the kind of guy that Leslie Frazier is. And I pray that that's a head coaching position, because he deserves it more so than so many others that have already gotten the jobs.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I thought he should have got it last year, but I think the whole thing kind of put a little dip in it. But like, look at the Denver Broncos.
Oh, please. Do we have to?
Let's not.
I think she cut out.
Yeah. Well, Nautica, I will say one thing about the Denver Broncos. They made a mistake, with Russell Wilson, that they're going to pay dearly for $245 million worth of a mistake.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Wilson though, or if it's the coaching right now. I don't know.
Wilson looks fat and he looks slow. And you know
I
what?
think it's a combination though, because I think they're trying to keep Wilson in the pocket, and Wilson is not a pocket quarterback.
He isn't, but he needs to lose
roll
some weight
out
so he can run
and keep him in the pocket. And I mean, yeah. It's a combination, I think.
Yeah.
Nautica, what you were saying, I think we lost you for a minute there.
Yeah.
Oh, still. All right.
Nope. Still? Okay. All right. So we're on the bye, but there's a game next week. I need your guys' prediction of this Packers game. And Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers. And I don't want the real Aaron Rodgers to come up no time soon. So what's your predictions and your take?
Yeah, I think that we're gonna keep the winning going. I love primetime games in Buffalo. I think we'll rise to the occasion. I believe the spread is like 8.5. I think we're gonna cover it. So right now, my prediction is 34-24. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up, I don't think that they score 3 touchdowns on us. So my prediction might change a little bit going forward. But right now, I'm saying 34-24.
Okay, I'll take the next step up. The Packers play the Commanders today, which is kind of interesting. And if they lose this game against the Commanders, that's going to be interesting, because then they'll have lost several games in a row coming into Buffalo. But I'm thinking the same way as Sarah, in that I don't see this game. The Packers aren't the Packers this year, and Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers this year. I think he's missing Devontae Adams. Mentally, I don't know if Rodgers is checked out or what, but he just doesn't seem to be playing with the same level of fire that he normally does. Maybe that'll come around. Hopefully not next, Sunday.
Yeah, he got paid. He doesn't care.
I'm like, yeah, Tia here. Let's not get the the real Aaron Rodgers. Thank you very much. I'm going to say 38-28 Bills. I think we handle business. I think that the Packers are going to, they're going to come to play, especially if they lose, to the Commanders. They're going to have a sense of desperation. I might change that, prediction, but right now I'm saying 38-28 Bills.
All right. Well, I'll do my predictions since my thing's crapped out. But Packers look bad, really bad. My brother's a Packers fan. So I have a little investment in the Packers, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, I don't know what's going on with this team. I've never seen this before. Like, Aaron Rodgers looks absolutely washed. Like, him and Brady look similar to me. They look like they don't want to play football, but they contractually obligated to play football. I don't know what's going on, but their offense looks really bad. Their new receivers can't catch the ball, and it's really weird to watch. Just like you're so used to the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers show, and you're watching these rookies go out there and they can't seem to do their job. Like he's only throwing to Randall Cobb, and that's it. He's literally not throwing to anybody else. Also, their offensive line is having a lot of problems. They have a lot of injuries in the offensive line. So Aaron Rodgers has no time to throw the ball, and there's no time back there. Their defense looks good. It looks better than it did last year, especially. Oh yeah, and he's injured, so now they're really down bad. But their defense looks good, especially with Jair Alexander back. They definitely look a lot better than they did last year. But I think because their offense is so bad that their defense kind of gives up when they're like trying to like keep the lead. But I definitely think we're gonna win this game. I might go with Sarah, like 38-20. Like I don't think they'll score more than 20 points, Packers, because our defense is a lot better and their offense is terrible. So and their special teams is also terrible. Like they have given up more block punts than I've seen in a long time, man. Like it's crazy. So
it'll be interesting to see if we try to exploit that because we don't usually try to. So it'll be interesting
because they're not good. So I think we're going to win 38-20, and we can avenge the 2018 rookie Josh Allen year where we got shut out by the Packers. So hopefully that's what they use for pulling.
So what you have a chance? Oh, is that what? I don't have a prediction. We're gonna win the game. That's my prediction. We're gonna win.
Cheater.
Do scores.
Cheater.
Cheater.
I am. I'm sorry. But I thank you guys for coming out today. This is awesome. You made my day. I'm gonna watch football now with a beer and just relax. Bills aren't playing, so relax Sunday and watch some other teams.
It feels great though, knowing that it's a day full of football. It's a day full of football, and we don't have to worry about a thing. I love it.
Yay.
All right, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I love you guys. I have so much fun with you guys.
Average podcast.
Do it again. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
We are going to do this again. I'm pushing towards the end of the season, but I'll let you guys know when that's going to happen.
Like pre-playoffs.
Because I love the conversation. Even though I'm not really involved, I still love hearing the conversation. Yes, pre-playoffs for sure. But out of here, I appreciate Average Podcast in the 716. I am your host, T, with the Billsmafia. Peace out. Always go.
Everybody.
Go Bills. And Sabres.